And we're back. Today we're going to work on welding straight lines, stick welding. And if you watched the video before this one, you should know, you should already have your machine set up for 332 7018. That's what we're working with today. And it doesn't matter what you're welding with. For this video, we're going to show you how to work on straight lines. But if you're welding 332 7018 and need to know how to set your machine, go back to the last video, and that shows you how to get set up. All right, hop over here and I'm going to show you what we're going to do. All right, so you can see I got my plate pretty well cleaned up here. It's not super clean, but we're just practicing stick welding. Of course, if we were TIG welding or something like MIG welding or TIG welding, we'd need to get it really clean. But anyway, welding straight lines. So you can either run a bead right on this edge here and stay straight with it, or you can just get, you know, a piece of soapstone and get you a straight edge and draw you a straight line. Now, if you start by the edge and then you put another bead beside it and you keep going, if you're just learning, you're probably going to start getting crooked, but it just takes practice. And if you do, you should practice trying to correct that and get that crooked out of it. Okay, so if you got like a little dip like this, a little crook right here, you should try to go straight on the next bead and just go a little bit slower at that one little spot and let it fill up and straighten up, and just try to stay straight on that bead, next bead, to straighten it up. But anyway, that may be a little too advanced for you. So if you get too crooked, just start a new line. Just move over, start a new straight line, and follow that, and then just build off of that bead. Anyway, here we go. All right, so I got a bead here already. What we're gonna do is fire up, and we're gonna just drag it right at the toe of the weld that I have there. And go slow enough to where the edge of the bead, the puddle, runs up and covers this about halfway. You want it lapping over about halfway. And every bead lap over about halfway when we're welding flat. Here we go. Now if you notice here, I back drag to my start. That just means I fire up and drag to where I want to start, and then when I get going in the right direction, I run back over where I fired up. And I'll explain more on that in a little while, but it's very important that you do that. Stick welding 7018. Now this next bead, I'm gonna pull out a little early because I want to show you how your tie-ins should look. Now I pulled out of that weld, so you can. I want to show you how to work on your starts. So, okay, where you stop and you start back, you want to fire up in front about an inch or so. I like to back drag a lot. A lot of people just do it just a little tiny bit, but I've seen lots of people bust x-ray test for porosity in their starts. Okay, so I always back drag really good. Gives that rod time to get really nice and hot and to burn anything out of it that shouldn't be there, any porosity. A lot of times when you just fire up, you'll have porosity right there on your start. But if you back drag, and then come into your stop, it'll be really hot by the time it gets there, and all that mess will be burned out, and you'll be good and clean. Okay, so go ahead and start doing that, because when you're learning, if you start just firing up and taking off, you're developing a bad habit, and it's going to be hard to break later. So go ahead and start learning now. Fire up and drag it back, and then what you're going to do is just make a little loop right here. Just a little loop. It'll wash up on that where you stopped. It'll wash up on it real good, and you want to try to make it blend in really good, as good as you can, but it just takes practice. Here we go. Notice here I back drag, and I get to where I stopped, and I just wash the puddle up on it. Try to make it even and as smooth as you can. All right, so I wanted you to see where I tied in here. Check this off. Not too bad. No hump. So I'm just going to run a few more beads here for you and just let you watch, and hopefully maybe you'll learn something from it. Just try to stay consistent and wash that puddle up on the bead before that you laid. Try to overlap it about halfway, and just pay attention to your puddle. Try to make it look the same the whole way, the whole bead. Stay consistent. And by the way, if it looks like it's in fast motion here, it's really not. I just have a fan blowing the smoke out of the way, so hopefully you can see a little bit better. It seems to have helped a little bit. Once in a while you get lucky and get one chip off like this. Alright, so I went ahead and ran a few more beads for you guys so you can see kind of what the, somewhat what it's supposed to look like, hopefully. It's not the straightest in the world, but everybody could use some improvement, right? So anyway, so just keep on working on that, and if you get crooked, like I said, just draw you a new straight line and start again, and just work on straight, even, consistent beads, and make them nice and tight, no valleys between them. See how it's nice and flat across there. You don't want no valleys in between them or nothing like that. Anywhere slag can get trapped or cause you a low spot on a cap. So anyway, happy practicing, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.